guys, I hope your week is going well. It's the end of the day and I just brewed up some of that Dandy Blend chicory no caffeine coffee beverage that I got on iHerb. I'm really enjoying it. I have it here in Totoro with a few drops of the vanilla stevia from the sweet leaf that I also get on iHerb. It's really good. It would be great iced as well as if you're into drinking iced coffee and iced lattes. You're looking for a little after hours coffee type beverage without the caffeine. It's nice. As you can tell from the title and thumbnail today, I thought I would do a dedicated video all on a highly requested topic, which is sunless tanners. I get so many questions about, are sunless tanners good? Tanning lotions, is it okay to use spray tans? Go into the tanning spray tan booth. And if I could talk about that. Last year in my sunscreen Q&A, I talked about sunless tanners briefly in one, I think it was the third video. But I wanted to do a dedicated video giving you all some more information and elaborating a little bit more since I continue to get a lot of questions about them. The active ingredient in most sunless tanners is an ingredient called dihydroxyacetone. Dihydroxyacetone has been around for many, many years. It was first introduced in the 20s. I love historical information about things, so just bear with me very briefly. It was first introduced in the 20s actually as a sweetener for diabetics, as a diabetic sweetener. And then later in the 50s, there was a group at Cincinnati Children's Hospital conducting a study using dihydroxyacetone in young children with a type of carbohydrate processing disorder. And what they observed is that they were giving the kids this orally in the study, and the kids, would just spit it up invariably, as kids do, and the little children started to tan around the mouth. So that is how it was first observed that dihydroxyacetone could impart a tanned appearance to the skin. Now, how exactly does it work? I always like to tell you guys mechanisms of things because I think it's important for you as a consumer to be aware of that. Well, dihydroxyacetone is a simple 3-carbon sugar, and what it does is when it's applied to the top layer of the skin, it interacts with amino acids that are present in the very, very top layer of our skin. Those amino acids include things like glycine, leucine, alanine, valine. It interacts with those and it produces a compound. It interacts with them in a reaction known as the Maillard reaction. Similar to the browning that occurs like on the surface of your bagels, and a lot of kind of brown, that kind of caramely appearance that a lot of packaged foods have. Yeah, it's a similar non-enzyme driven reaction that can occur on the top layer of the skin to impart this brown or bronzed appearance on our skin. It's called the Maillard reaction, as I said, and it produces compounds that are called melanoidins, which are chemically very similar to the pigment that we have in our skin called melanin. They're chemically similar, but they are not biologically the same thing, so keep that in mind. The brown pigment that is created from your sunless tanners does not do the same thing as melanin in your skin as far as protecting your skin health, and it does not do the same thing, but chemically they're very similar and they look similar to the eye, so it imparts this bronzed tan appearance on the skin. Oh, this stuff is so good. Now, because the Maillard reaction is occurring right on the surface of the skin where the dihydroxyacetone containing sunless tanning cream or the spray is sprayed on your skin, it really only is altering the appearance of the very top layer of your skin. It does not penetrate your skin. It is very, very safe, does not damage the skin at all. Is not systemically absorbed to any appreciable manner with no adverse consequences on human health. It is a color additive that is okayed and approved by the FDA, and the only color additive that is allowed by the FDA in sunless tanning products. Has been in existence for many, many years. Very, very safe when applied to the skin. There are reports of allergic contact dermatitis to sunless tanners, but for the most part, those allergic contact dermatitis reports it's subsequently thought that those individuals developed a rash to the product because of other ingredients in the product and not necessarily the dihydroxyacetone or that little sugar molecule. Over-the-counter sunless tanners usually have anywhere from 3 to 5% dihydroxyacetone, upwards of 10% sometimes depending on the product. The depth of the tan that you get from a sunless tanning product is going to depend on the concentration of the percentage strength of the concentration of dihydroxyacetone. So 5% is going to give you a darker tan. The depth of the tan is also going to be influenced by the number of applications, particularly consecutive days of applying. So if you apply sunless tanner, 3 or 4 days in a row of a light shade or a low percent dihydroxyacetone concentration, you're going to get a darker tan than if you only apply it once. And you usually can observe pigmentation within an hour. It peaks at about anywhere from 8 to 24 hours. But because the sunless tan and the Maillard reaction and that melanoidin, I have a hard time spitting that out. The melanoidin is only present there on the top layer of the skin. As your skin turns over, about every 5 to 7 days, that top layer turns over, you will lose it. So, if you apply it 3 consecutive days in a row, you get a dark tan. It's going to take about 5 to 7 days for it to go away. And that's also going to depend on the area of the body. So the depth of the tan will be affected by what area of skin that you're applying it to. The Maillard reaction occurs at the surface of the skin, but different areas of our body vary in the thickness of the surface of our skin. The skin on our face is very thin, the skin on our neck is very thin, but the skin on our palms and soles is very thick, and the skin on our extremities, our arms and legs, is quite a bit thicker as well, but not quite as thick as the palms and soles. So you will get a more long-lasting and darker tan on the extremities than you will on the face. You will need to reapply the product more frequently to maintain the results on areas of the body where the skin is thinner, like the face. But sunless tanners, they actually can impart a tiny amount of SPF to your skin, somewhere in the ballpark, depending on the percentage of the dihydroxyacetone, anywhere from 1.3, an SPF of 1.3 to like 2.4. So that's nothing, and therefore sunless tanners cannot say that their product protects against the damaging effects of UV, because that is far too low of an SPF to be protecting you from a burn, from skin cancer, or whatever. But it is a tiny bit. It's kind of like being nude in a blizzard or having a bikini on in a blizzard. You understand that you might be slightly more sheltered in the bikini, but really you're still gonna freeze to death. It's kind of the same principle with your sunless tanner. Not completely useless, does offer a teeny bit, but you still need the sunscreen and the sun protection, and this is not protecting you from the damaging effects of UV. I'll hold this product up because my mother got this free in her Walmart beauty box. It is a Jergens Natural Glow Wet Skin Moisturizer. This is a dihydroxyacetone containing fair to medium sunless tanner that I just threw on the floor, that I used to use once upon a time before I was a dermatologist, but now it's no longer my aesthetic or really professionally acceptable to be rocking a tan, because there is no such thing as a safe sun or tanning bed induced tan. They are all deadly. They represent wounds, so painting the skin to mimic that just kind of propagates the idea that a tan is a good thing. So I don't sunless tan or use sunless tanning products, but I do think that they are a great choice for people who love the look of a tan. I think they're wonderful. I would strongly encourage you to use a sunless tanning product over seeking a natural tan. There is no such thing as a safe tan. Even if you're somebody who never burns, you always tan, that is a wounding response to ultraviolet light tanning skin. So I strongly advocate sunless tanners over that. For myself personally, as an individual, it's not my aesthetic. For both personal and kind of professional reasons, I prefer to promote a tan-free vibe. I will say this, however, The patients and individuals who I find myself counseling more so on sunless tanners and where they are, you know, really, really helpful, particularly for cosmetic reasons, but also overall emotional health, are in conditions like vitiligo. Sorry, there's a truck going by. Conditions like vitiligo. If you're not familiar with vitiligo, this is a skin disease in which patches of skin completely lose pigment. And it can be very disfiguring. It often can occur on the face, the hands, really areas of the body that are really prominent in day-to-day life and conversation, and can be very, very, very socially isolating for the individual, particularly for individuals with darker skin types, where that contrast between the affected depigmented skin and their natural unaffected skin is really, really striking. Sunless tanners are a helpful way to come in and camouflage those areas. So if that's you out there with vitiligo and you're wondering if sunless tanners are helpful in those areas, they will work there. They will work in the affected depigmented areas and are useful. They're not great. I mean, you can still see a difference, but they offer you something a little bit more, and then, you know, you can layer on top with makeup to camouflage it further. So I think they're very useful in that situation in particular. I also think that they're useful for people who are addicted to tanning. Tanning addiction is a true disease. I'm not making this up. When you tan, your skin releases opioid chemicals, the same chemicals that are released when an individual uses a addictive substance like heroin, for example. The same exact substances are released in our skin, and they are very addictive. That's why it feels good to tan. So some people have a true tanning addiction. Such that when you take away their access to tanning booths or ability to sunbathe, they actually go through symptoms of withdrawal. So for those individuals, while this isn't going to interrupt that biology, being the brakes on that biology of brain skin chemistry going on, it will at least kind of help them potentially as they go through giving up tanning. And so I'm definitely very supportive in that situation. Sunless tanners can also be very helpful cosmetically for hiding varicose veins on the legs, spider veins. I have a whole video about treating spider veins and varicose veins on the lower extremities, so if that's you, check that out. But for people who, you know, want to put on a bathing suit and are really bothered by those varicose veins that can crop up in anyone, then a sunless tanner can actually mask those to a certain extent. Some people are really happy with the results. I mean, like, I think that's often what ends up happening when people put those filters on their photographs, on Instagram, and everybody seems to have this like flawless bikini body. Well, a lot of that is like a filter that kind of mimics a sunless tanning cream, so you can kind of get that effect using a sunless tanner if you're bothered by certain cosmetic things like varicose veins and spider veins. It can also help hide that as well. So useful there. I mean, they're not bad, just not my personal aesthetic to use them. And I never am, out showing my spider veiny legs, so it's fine. But for those of you out there, it can be really helpful. So while I don't use them, I can give you some practical tips for applying them. I think everyone out there who if you've ever used one or consider using one, you understand that you need to first exfoliate the skin. I recommend doing this simply with a washcloth and water, not soap, and for reasons that I will explain in a moment. But just a little, water, a plain washcloth is fine. You can use a loofah as well. This will just sort of file the skin, almost like filing the nail, smooth the skin a little bit, exfoliate some of the uneven skin cells. Be very gentle, don't go aggressively scrubbing, harder is not better, but just some gentle exfoliation on the area that you're going to be applying it. This will even everything out and allow for a more even application. The other thing that you want to do, if you have been using like soaps, body washes, is you actually want to come on over the skin where you're going to be applying it with, hear me out, an alcohol containing toner, an acid toner. And the reason for this is, and I know you guys are like, what? I thought you said we should never use toners. Here's a situation where a toner can actually be very helpful. What this does is it will remove any of the soap or lotion residue that you may have behind, either from personal care products like your body wash that you may have used the night before, or detergents can transfer off of your clothing onto your skin and be stuck there. And those alkaline deposits from the detergents will interfere with the Maillard reaction and give you an uneven application. So if you have an alcohol-based toner that you've been convinced to buy, save it for your sunless tanning application. It can be helpful there. So immediately after doing the alcohol-based toner, the acid toner, the harsh astringent toner, then you actually want to moisturize with a fragrance-free moisturizer ideally. This will help hydrate the skin. You really want to focus the moisturizer also around bony prominences like your elbows and your knees and your ankles. These are areas that where the skin's a lot thicker and it may be drier, and just really tenaciously take up that sunless tanner and give you an uneven application where you have darker areas on those bony prominences. So make sure you hydrate, make sure you really moisturize the bony areas of the body before you apply in that area. Then after you've applied the moisturizer, just let it dry, soak up into the skin, and then you come on with the sunless tanning product. You only need a thin film of the product, and less is more. You don't need to go heaping it on. You really just need a thin monolayer on the area that you're interested in tanning. I say that like it's a dirty word because it kind of is. And if you happen to have any excess cream that's heaped up around the bony prominences, just over the bony areas, just wipe it off with like a washcloth or a cotton pad with a little bit of water so that you don't get that darkening. The other thing that you all probably are, well familiar with is, wash your hands immediately, but for the most part, just try and use gloves to apply it, because the skin on the palms very, very thick, and nobody wants those bright orange palms. So just wear, they sell application mitts and gloves for applying it. I recommend using those. Sunscreens has like a mitt that you can get at Ulta that's pretty inexpensive. I have seen. I imagine it's decent. It's just a fabric mitt. I've heard can be helpful for giving you kind of an even application and at least protecting your hands. Oh yeah, Dandy Blend is quite good. So in summary, sunless tanners, dihydroxyacetone as their active ingredient, incredibly safe, and please choose this over sunbathing in the sun, and God forbid, choose this over going into a tanning bed. All right, a tanning bed, I cannot overemphasize how deadly that is. A tanning bed, like a cigarette, is a carcinogen, and when you get in a tanning bed, you put yourself at such subsequent risk for skin cancer and the deadly skin cancer, melanoma. You have no idea how deadly one or two trips to the tanning bed can really just have so many damaging effects on your skin that are long lasting. You have no idea. And a tanning bed will also age your skin. I mean, 1 or 2 times going in a tanning bed, you will accelerate the age of your skin. So much so that, when you guys ask me about skincare tips for mature skin, I have seen, quote, mature skin in 20-year-olds who have been using tanning beds. Their skin is, quote, mature, brittle, dry, sun damaged, very, very impaired from using tanning beds. I cannot, in my opinion, they should be just completely banned and removed from existence. They are awful. Never get in one, never ever. And if you have used one in the past, don't beat yourself up. We know better, we do better, move forward, onward and upward. but don't go in one, okay? Do not go in a sunless tanning booth. And, you know, if you know a young person, a young man, young woman, spread the word. There is no such thing as a safe tan. But getting a tan from sunbathing or a tanning bed is really, really, really putting yourself at tremendous risk for untoward effects. So anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you all. I know you all want to see me putting on sunless tanner. If I was clever enough, you know, the online platform that I use to build my thumbnails has some sort of like funny filter you can put on yourself to make yourself look tan. So maybe I'll try and play around with that for the thumbnail. You'll know at this point if I achieved that or not. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you. You know, share it with your friends. Share it with your young friends who you know, are influenced by tanning and that sort of thing. So you know, they at least get some hopefully helpful information on what to avoid as far as tanning and that sort of thing. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe.